mentors and billionaires. You know, you said that plurally. So I'm just wondering again, at what point do you go from, you know, the guy living in the middle of nowhere to having these connections? Was it you going just to events and venues constantly and just making these connections, or did somebody just literally be like, you know, the investor be like, all right, look, this is my contacts book, here, take it? Or how does that work, you know?
Well, for the billionaires, I just happen to, my day job is IT, and I work for a lot of big companies, and so over the years I met this one group of people, and they just happened to be like industry leaders in the, and so without doxing them,
Right.
I mean, two of them are no longer with us, but I mean, they were older, and so they were at kind of at the end of their, I want to say their end of their lives, but yeah, they were at their end of their lives. And they introduced me to these investor, because they kind of saw that I wasn't like a shady person,
Right.
was like coming correct with them. So
Mhm.
they introduced me into the, there's this, I mean, I don't know how deep you want me to get into this story, but there's this kind of weird network of collectible creator toy people,
So
that,
it's like David you in this circle, like
what's that?
David you from Ecomia Veve in this circle of people, like that type of.
Well, no, I mean, it's more like I don't know if you've ever like hung out with extremely rich people before. Like, they're freaking weird. Like, you know, they're weird. And so um they're they're really more accessible than you think.
Mm,
I mean, you probably know a few of them, right? You probably, in your inner circle, there's probably somebody that you don't know is a multimillionaire or billionaire, and but they're really good at hiding it. So, you know, like, this group, I just happened to become friends with one of them, and you knew that they had money, but you didn't know how much money they had. And so they introduced me to two friends, and they introduced me to two friends. And so then at one night, it was, I swear it was like an Anne Rice novel, man. It was like they drove me to this weird mansion, and I sat down, and there was like five weird kind of like vampiric looking dudes at the end of the table, and I was like, ugh. But I mean, they're really pretty chill. But they were like,
this in New York or Atlanta? This sounds like a New York thing.
it's a New York thing,
So
right?
you were probably in Long Island somewhere, I'm guessing.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
We're in my neck of the woods. So that's what I.
So,
So
yeah, I
yes,
mean,
I know about the rich, weird
yeah,
castles and villas and
yeah,
yeah, buddy.
yes. So it's a little bit like Eyes Wide Shut, right? It's a little
Yeah.
bit like, anyways, I met them. One of them gave me a little bit of money to get it started, and also some terrible, terrible advice.
Mm,
So, but also were had enough money that they didn't destroy my life, right? So, um, and they're in the hospital right now, and I go and visit them, and they're happy for what I've been able to succeed with, but they also realize that they didn't do me any favors, by,
mm,
and the thing that you realize is, because you own toy companies, or companies that own toy companies, doesn't mean that you know how to make them, right?
correct.
You've got somebody else doing it, and
Making the concepts and the talent, and you just know how to bring things to market. You just have
yeah.
the means and the means. Mhm.
So I thought, I was naive, and I thought that, somebody running a toy company would know how to do that for me and could help me out. But I ended up learning it myself pretty quickly. And if I could do it all over, I would just slow down and be more, I would have a solid business plan, kind of like what I'm doing with Beluga Bay. if I had run my toy company like I'm running Beluga Veve, I would have been far more successful. And you know, I'm not saying it's not successful, but it would have been in every kid's hands, right? So
yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting path that you've taken to finally get here, you know, and I'm super excited to see where Beluga Veve, where it's, you know, the future of it. By the way, speaking of, link is to the Opensea collection for Beluga Veve is in the chat. It's pinned.
Real quick, I also put the link to spritelings.com in there also.
yeah, I don't really talk about Spritelings because I've signed some deals with platforms for NFTs, but yeah, it's fine. It's like I'm
you know, a little
good.
idea.
I'm good with it. I've signed an agreement to be the first toy company to launch on this specific platform that I won't mention because of NDAs. But
Okay.
but yeah, it's fine that it's out there.
All right.
People can see it. I think people are starting to know that I'm associated with it, but now they do. So it's all good.
All right. So earlier you mentioned about having a superpower. Along those lines, what if you were going to be a superhero? What superhero would you be?
I would be one of the two twins, like the Wonder Twin powers activate form of, and I would be the one that would like turn into something that was completely useless, like the dude that would turn into a pail of water, or you know, I would do that just when wait, you're asking me which one am I and which one would
which one would you be? Like,
okay, if I would be whatever one that learns really quickly. Yeah, I mean, with the zero staying power with that. But which one would I want to be? I'd definitely be one of the Wonder Twins, and specifically the one that would turn into like a pail of water and that just could sit there and not do anything for, you know. Or was it the one that, yeah, one turned into like an animal and one turned into an inanimate object, right? So it was like, I would want to be the one that could turn into an inanimate object and just sit there and not have to deal with like, yeah, exactly.
So, and then what about Veve NFTs? Obviously, you're you know, in NFTs. What do you own any Veve NFTs? Are you in that, or no, not really?
No, I had somebody come into the Discord and start gifting me them, and they didn't really understand my whole vibe, so they started sending me stuff that clearly, you know, if you knew me for 5 seconds, you would understand that I wouldn't want whichever one, because those are really popular, right? Pop culture ones, right? And I'm not a popular pop culture dude. I'm more like,
well, for me, I would have gifted you a Labbit from Kozik.
Exactly, yeah.
Or a piece from Jermaine Rogers or something, you know.
Yeah, but they gifted me, I think, I don't remember what it was. I mean, they
like
sent me a couple
hoverboard from Back to the Future or something.
No, I mean, that would have been
even decent, all right.
Yeah, this was, I think, I don't know if it was I'm not trying to like insult the sports people, but I think it was a sports one, or I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it was, but clearly, like, they didn't read the room. You know, if you know me, you know, I'm into cute stuff. I feel like yeah, you wouldn't have to know me too long to understand that.
I would have gave you one of my Adventure Time pieces, man. I just sold my Lumpy Space Princess.
Oh God, LSP, man, I love LSP. Yeah.
I was really trying to get the whole set, and then I don't know what happened. I just lost it. Like,
you lost like, you just wanted to sell them, or how?
Yeah, man, like there were a lot of drop, like the ability to get a first appearance Deadpool. Like when I think of IPs in the future, I feel like
investment. Investment. You had to drop LSP and grab Deadpool. I feel you. Yeah.
it's sad, man. It's sad. I had to reign Corno too. I really don't want to talk about that. And then, of course, once I sold it, you know, it blew up. Everything on the app is blown up though. So everything that I invested in, it also grew. So I can't really be mad, you know, but I miss those pieces. They're very well made when you actually drop them like in the showroom and look at them, and AR, like they're amazing. That rain corn just looks crazy.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Oh,
If I were, I would definitely collect Adventure Time stuff.
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Finn, you know, I have Finn.
Oh God, yeah.
Dog. That whole set is just crazy, man. It's crazy.
I would probably go for Tree Trunks. If there was a Tree Trunks one.
They don't have it yet.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That's gonna be in the next season. I guarantee. The next season. Yeah.
Tree Trunks reminds me of my grandmother, my deceased grandmother. So, it's, yeah.
Interesting.
So Beluga, I know. Again, you mentioned that you're a cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not too personal, what what happened there?
Oh yeah. So 2 years ago, I was like doing my thing. I was in New York and I felt a lump in my neck, and I was like, I talked to my friend and I said, do you feel my neck? This doesn't feel, and people are always like joking on me. They're like, you're a hypochondriac, da 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 da. So but so they felt my neck and they're like, that's just your neck, man. So I went on a couple weeks and went to the doctor and finally said, I think I got a lump in my neck. And I just thought it was going to be something they would say, yeah, you need to, whatever. And he's like, oh no, there's something serious there. And, but what's that?
Is that a lymph?
Yeah, it was a lymph node. And so, I went and you never think that it's cancer, right? You just, you're just like, well, whatever. And so I went and they did a biopsy and nothing came of it. They couldn't find anything. And they're like, well, we need to see what this is. So I went and I had a lumpectomy, which they take your lymph node out. And I woke up and they're like, oh yeah, you've got cancer and it spread into a couple of your lymph nodes. And I was like, oh crap, and so it was like one day you're walking down the street in New York City, like popping around, having a good time. And the next week you're making appointments to get radiation and chemotherapy for 7 weeks, so and told that you have cancer. Well, yeah, so I went through that, and luckily it was a cancer that is pretty much 86% survivability if caught early. And so had radiation, had chemotherapy. Unfortunately, it happened right as COVID hit. And so if you know anything about chemotherapy, they basically nuke you until you can, you have 0 white blood cells. So I'm leaving and they like lean over and say, don't get COVID because it's going to kill you, so it was pretty terrifying. And I went through the 7 weeks of that, and went through about a year of recovery. And the fact that I can talk to you right now is a miracle, because it was I had radiation sprayed in my face for 7 weeks.
Yeah,
man, it's tough. It's just it's crazy that I've had in the past, I don't know, 5 years, a lot of friends that I know personally that have passed away. It's just like, what the heck? What's going on? Even with COVID,
My dad just died of COVID.
I'm sorry?
My dad just died of COVID.
Wow. You see,
yeah.
my wife's dad died of COVID, and I just found out about a week ago my cousin's father-in-law just passed away. So I'm sorry for your loss, man. It's just
thanks, man.
Man, It's horrible.
It's crazy, man. I lost my best friend, well, one of many. You know, I have a couple, but yeah, his name is Joe, actually. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with him. He had a lump on set, lymph area, and unfortunately, he didn't beat his bout with cancer. I also lost my mother to lymphoma. So yeah, man, I've been dealing with a lot of that, you know, since a young age. Like I had my sister, even growing up, this is in like the 80s. My sister, when she graduated high school, she went away to school. She went to like New Rochelle somewhere, and her friend went to the army. Her friend was in like crazy shape. She was a girl, but she was in crazy shape, man. And I'll never forget, she came back like after the first year talking about she had cancer. And I mean, they were only like 20 years old. You know what I mean? 21. And she didn't make it.
21?
Yep. And she didn't make it another year, man. And I mean, she was in great shape, didn't smoke, you know, nothing, you know. So it just like it was mind boggling to me, you know, how all this works. You know, then I had an aunt that was like, you know, a chronic smoker, you know, and was fully active. I mean, 70, 80 years old. She lived in DC. She would go to the store, get her own groceries, you know, but was a chain smoker and like didn't even die of cancer. She just died natural causes, you know. So it's like,
It's crazy.
you know, and then my mom, she smoked from like 12 to like 40, stopped smoking, and then had cancer within like 3 years and died.
Damn.
So it's like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy.
It's terrifying. Yeah, it's really terrifying.
Right. I've heard, yeah. By the way, in the chat, Brandon Z says, you know, prayers out for all y'all's families, and more important than all the NFTs and cryptos. And absolutely, I agree 110% with that, you know, because your life can change just like this, as you know, as we know. And all this, you know, NFTs and all this and that, you know, it's an afterthought. So you gotta
absolutely, yeah.
You know. So okay, all right. So on a lighter note, if 3 places that you would like to go visit, whether you've been there or not, doesn't matter. Give me 3 places.
3 places: San Francisco, New York, and Fort Lauderdale.
Yo, New York and Florida are in there.
this dude right here, man, he got all 3 of my spots on the map.
Yeah. And I mean, I like overseas as well, but I hate the food, man. I hate the food. So
that's the one thing I don't think I can get over. You know, like I've been lucky, man. You know, I haven't gone to too many places. But once you're talking to European countries, not for nothing, y'all, I'm just saying, you know, the snails and all of that stuff, man, you guys have to keep that, man. You gotta send me over to Jamaica or something, you know what I'm saying? Give me some oxtails. That's as far as I go is oxtails, you know what I'm saying?
When your food moves, right? Strange when that's
I wouldn't call it off the table and all that. Oh, man.
Yeah, I know with my NFT following, we have a lot of non-Americans, so I probably just offended everybody, but it's all good. It's just your food.
My NFT project is murdered and I ain't even get it started yet. I just killed it right now. Slack, guys.
So, all right. So speaking of food, what's your favorite food?
Well, things have changed since cancer took my taste buds. Well, a lot of the taste buds they're finally coming back after like 3 years.
Yeah,
but
the radiation does that.
What's that?
They say the radiation, I think, does that.
Yeah.
Right?
Both are actually. But my favorite food right now is I love sushi. And I love good southern soul food. So give me like some
savory gravy.
I went to Georgia for my dad's funeral, and we pulled into this chicken spot, and man, I don't know what they do with the chicken down there, but it's I swear that it's like baby tears they soak it in or something. It's like it's so good. And so like so sushi,
Southern
food, and I want to say I'm gonna have to say like Thai food, maybe like Thai.
Ooh,
Yeah, Thai food.
that's so funny, man. Yeah, that's the one thing, that and like Korean barbecue are the two things that I'm
Ooh,
trying to get my hands on. You
Korean
know,
barbecue is amazing too.
yeah, but you gotta try some, man. Especially San Francisco. I heard that's where you want to go. Like there, LA. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
food in California is just undoubtedly the best stuff I've ever had in my life. I don't know.
Heard the best food comes from off of a truck.
Food, yeah.
And you know what? I don't know if you guys have tried it, but Vietnamese food is it's very good.
It's delicious. Yeah, very aromatic. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I really like it. What about snacks? Favorite snacks? You know, your guilty pleasures to eat.
I'm a textured guy more than anything. So I'm just like anything with a good texture, really. I'm a sweets guy. So, but anything that's got a good texture and sweet, you know, basically.
Texture, you mean like you like a crunch, or you like stuff that just has.
I like dumplings. I like doughy stuff. Yeah, I mean like I like white rice, like just crazy white rice. I like carbs, I guess, as snacks.
Man, me too. Me too. I'm big into carbs, man. So bad. It's so bad, but it's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Sweet stuff too, but if I'm gonna be honest, you give me like a couple like steamed dumplings as a snack, it's like the best thing ever, right? But cold pizza.
All right. What are you married? Kids?
No, single.
Single. All right. Very cool.
So as Fast Eddie P said in the chat, I second this. Give us a call when you're in New York again.
Awesome.
We're in Long Island.
Yes, I have to say, look, I lived in New York for a long time, and New York, the food is phenomenal. It's great, but you know, we could argue about who has the best food for hours. So okay, what about? I know you have chickens, right? You own chickens.
Oh God, yeah.
So what's the deal with the chickens?
Oh man. So during cancer, my best friend got me into these like exotic silky chickens, right? And so I live in a neighborhood that doesn't allow chickens, so I like went underground and like built a little part of my porch to have these chickens. And when cancer hit, it was like I was like, I don't care, I'm getting these chickens, right? And maybe the last thing I do, this is before I knew that I was going to survive it, right? So I got these chickens and they're freaking amazing. They're like little cats, right? They're not like chickens. I mean, I don't know if you know what a silky is, but they're like these fluffy little balls of joy, right? And so yeah, they're amazing. But yeah, I mean, chickens.
Chickens, yeah, they're not the
Yeah, they're like old lady chickens, right? If you're in for Georgia, it's like you know, there's like this lady named Marge that lives down the street from you that has these little chickens that are silkies. It's like growing up on a farm, it's only the old ladies had these chickens, right? It was like so. But yeah, they're like cats, two-legged cats, basically.
How many do you have?
So the funny story is, I ordered 3, okay, and the company. This is the weirdest thing ever. The company sends you a box in the mail, and it has 3 baby chickens in it. But apparently, it happens enough that those 3 don't survive, so they send you 2 additional ones, just in case one of them doesn't make the trip. So I ordered 3. I got 5. So all 5 survived. Those those 5 grew up, and I ended up having 4 boys and 1 girl, which is a terrible thing to have for chickens. So they ended up reproducing and having 3 additional babies, and so and that we were okay. 8 was getting a little bit more than my porch could handle, right? And then I went to Florida, and my roommate forgot to collect the eggs, and I came back, and 7 more.
Wow.
So I have 15 now.
15.
Yeah, 15. I mean, they're tiny. They're tiny, right? They're like the size of the girls are about the size of a big grapefruit, I'll say. But they're little chickens, but 15 is a lot for a porch. But
yeah, there's a lot. That's a lot.
There's a lot.
Very, very cool though. Very cool, man.
It's funny that you brought that up. You dug hard on that one to get that alpha.
Well, you mentioned it.